Hey guys, just a real quick one letting you know that my full audio reaction to the entire movie is on Patreon. So if you want to, I don't know, play along or just listen to the big moments of my real reaction, like to the big things, check it out on Patreon. It'll be worth it. That's on there in game. A few of the other big Marvel ones. So yeah, that's it. Back to the review. Spoiler review. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. Yo. Comics Plus, what's going on? My name is Akasan here, joined by Michael Japone.
Yes, sir.
He's over there on Twitch and Instagram, so you check him out. It's hot as hell, y'all, but it's about to get a little bit hotter. We're about to get into the Deadpool spoiler zone, spoiler talk here. And we're just gonna point out the biggest moments for us. He wants to go in order, but what I will say is, what's the biggest surprise? Yeah, what was the biggest surprise? And again,
I think Akasan and I can agree. Blade, and I'm talking about Wesley Snipes himself, Blade. When he walked out,
the fact that you're even saying it,
I thought it was CGI. I was like, did they actually get him?
I thought it was a stunt double, or like someone to look alike. Like, because I would have never in a million years, especially because the animosity that Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes had toward each other during Blade 3, and the way Blade 3 was just on set, everybody was so pissed at Wesley Snipes. That's what's even crazier. And it didn't really even register to me until Deadpool himself was like, didn't expect to see you here.
Expect to see you
and then
here.
I'm like, that's right. They have mad beef like that.
The fourth wall stuff in this movie is like
great.
Non-stop.
Actually, for me though, it wasn't Blade. That was a big one.
That was big. Yeah.
That took me a little bit by surprise, only because of the fact that we saw another Blade in there.
Yeah. So the thing was, when I do my research on YouTube, that guy is another character. He's not Blade. Oh, it's another character.
Wait, who was he?
I can't tell. I can't remember the name of the guy. But
so he wasn't Blade. Okay,
he's not Blade.
Okay, because when I saw that trailer, everybody was commenting that it was Blade from the TV show.
Someone kind of debunked that was not Blade.
Okay, so my big thing, the biggest shocker, was honestly Biker Wolverine, played by Henry Cavill. Dude, that was great.
That I was not expecting at all.
That took a minute to register too. I'm like,
and I honestly didn't know the history with the Henry Cavill thing, where he was supposed to play Wolverine.
No, I think he just tried to audition. There were lots of rumors that he went in to audition to be the new Wolverine, like that. Also, Scott Eastwood. Every other month, there was always like, who's gonna play the new Wolverine? The same thing was like, who's going to be the new Batman when Christian Bale was wrapping up.
And let's just keep on tone with that whole scene with all the different Wolverines. My favorite Wolverine, because when I talk about
comic book accuracy,
the comic book accurate Wolverine, where he's short and stocky, and it was actually still Hugh Jackman, but it was just like his face over someone else's body. That I was like, okay, they're really giving us everything in this movie. And then they went on to do the brown suit Wolverine versus the Hulk, which I heard was going to be in the movie, but I didn't get what I thought was going to happen, which is the actual Wolverine versus Hulk fight. All we got was a side-by-side, a face-to-face, and then they moved on to the next thing.
Not just that, I'm actually shockingly surprised that they pulled off the Todd McFarlane homage. So that Wolverine versus Hulk thing, so the original one was actually Hulk and Wendigo and Wolverine cameos. That's Wolverine's first appearance, actually. It's a three-way fight. But the Wolverine versus Hulk that's really infamous was, the cover was done by Todd McFarlane, Amazing Spider-Man, Spawn. And that's where the whole Blade and reflection with the Hulk's face was done.
And that's what that shot was.
And so from that point on,
that's even deeper than
countless,
I thought.
30 years now, maybe about 30, almost 40 years now, there's been like 50 different homages covers with the whole blades, the knives, even the we don't have it. But even some of the posters that have been going around with Wolverine and Deadpool, like, and it shows that's
also
all through that Todd McFarlane cover because that was such a big moment. So the fact, and they've done it in animation, they've done it in comics, and now we finally have a live action version of it. That's
crazy.
So sick.
Yeah, so I noticed that shot with the blades and Hulk was showing through the blades, and I didn't realize. Now you're telling me that was actually a.
Now, in terms of comic book, now we said we were going to try to go in order, but it's kind of hard to remember everything. But in terms of comic book accuracy, I like that they did the. I like the fact that Wolverine's helmet was not nanotech. He was wearing it the entire time.
He just didn't put it on.
Right. He just was just like, and then the whole excuse was like, okay, he only wears it when it's time for murdering people or something like that. And I kind of like that idea because, you know, comic book lore-wise, you could add in that it helps hone his senses, lock in, you know, it covers his ears up so he can kind of just, like, kind of like a scuba mask. He's focused or like a horse or something. Like
he can just get in a mode.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that costume, by the way, I think they did a great job of explaining why he's wearing this colorful costume.
Yep.
Like, they did a great job because you think about, like, why is he wearing the thing, like, realistically? And the fact that he let his whole X-Men down, they all ended up getting massacred when in his absence.
Yep.
He wears the suit in order to remember them as an homage and remembrance for them. So he's wearing it with an emotional attachment, which I thought was a great little thing that they added.
I do like the fact that they didn't show his actual eyes. I knew that was going to ruin it. But it was also kind of weird for him to walk around with the whole Batman whiteout. But I noticed they did try to give him
some humanity.
Some expressional moments the way they do with Deadpool, because Deadpool and now as of late recently Spider-Man has been the
emotional
the eye movement. So they tried doing it a little bit. I'm glad he wore it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's just that just near the end of the movie.
Yeah. Like I personally don't think we need to see it that often. But it was kind of cool to finally show people this is what it would look like.
Comic accurate.
Get over it. It's done.
Yeah, it's done.
I like that it wasn't. I like that it wasn't a poison Wolverine. It wasn't a nerfed Wolverine. It actually was one of the strongest Wolverines I've ever seen on film.
Because he has all of his energy and his power.
Yeah, and he tossed Deadpool like crazy.
Yeah.
Regenerative abilities like that. It would seem like a younger Wolverine on top of that. So I think they. Oh, and also, it really did feel like a Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
Like it was equally shared, honestly.
Very much equally. It was so much Deadpool, but there was also so much Wolverine and X-Men in this film. Like, I feel like it was such a strong X-Men film. If you consider it an X-Men film, there was a lot of X-Men in this movie. Like, one thing I need you to explain to me, this guy that he plays like he's Nightcrawler.
Oh, that's Nightcrawler's father, Azrael. I think his name is Azrael.
He's red.
That's Nightcrawler's father, and he showed up for in X-Men First Class.
Okay,
he was part of Sebastian Blood's or somebody Nantakas crew that Magneto eventually takes over.
That's what it's okay.
Now I understand.
He was doing the Nightcrawler thing. He did a great job.
I was trying to figure out if that was Psylocke or not in
the girl purple hair,
but I think it's a different
because it was a whip. It wasn't swords.
Right. I just don't know which X-Men that was. Purple whip. Either she was in the TV show or First Class, or she might have been in Dark Phoenix or something, because there's a lot of X-Men movies I have not seen. So,
true.
I do like how they made a really good point about how Logan was kind of the beginning of the end of the X-Men universe. Because all the other movies were like, they were there, but like nobody was even caring at that point anymore. So that was very interesting as well. Let me see some other stuff that was interesting.
So who did you know was going to be featured in the film? Who did you know was going to be like a cameo? Because I knew of some cameos.
I didn't know any. I didn't know.
So I knew about X-23. Obviously, she showed up.
That one was in the trailer.
She showed up in the last trailer.
That was a big surprise.
So I guess I knew about that from that. But I also knew that Elektra was going to be in the movie.
See, I didn't know that.
I knew that through the wire.
Okay.
So when X-23 came with her boots walking up to drive the van, I was like, oh, that's X-23. But
Right. Then later,
Then
right?
Elektra popped up. I was
Right.
like,
And it was a good swerve. It honestly was a really good swerve.
And then Blade walks out.
Okay, but then it got even more ridiculous.
Freaking, what's the guy's name? Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum as Gambit, dude. Yeah.
So even almost more so than Blade, the Gambit cameo. But that was also rumored. I had a feeling that might happen, but I also forgot all about it.
But I'm not gonna lie, I do like the fact that was also very meta in there with the fact that you know, he's been wanting to play Gambit all of his life.
He screen tested it and everything.
It was never gonna work, and that was kind of his mission in the movie, was like to make himself worthwhile.
A lot of people got
to finally get a chance, redemption sort of thing.
And that was his character,
But I do like how shitty, well, not purposely shitty or purposely cheesy and hard to understand what the hell he was saying.
But that was good for his character. And I was understanding, so he did a good job of saying what he was saying, but he was real deep in that Creole accent.
Which was kind of funny. It was like even the whole thing of like, and then they made him all goofy with the outfit. They went really
all in on Gambit, and he had some great fight scenes.
That whole scene with these like, I came out of my daddy's dick ready, born ready.
And he went even further into explanations like, yo, bro.
It was too much, but that's what I liked about it, because they weren't afraid to hold back on that.
Channing Tatum was great in the film.
Henry Cavill showing up was just crazy to me, just because it took me a second to register, and I'm just like,
it looks okay.
And then the whole thing about, we'll treat you better than those dumb fucks over there. Like,
that was good.
That was some good stuff.
So much meta stuff in this movie.
Yeah, there was a lot. Oh, but so I was going to say Xavier, Cassandra Xavier, I think she did a great job. She knew what role she was supposed to play, and I think she handled it.
She handled it perfectly.
And
I can't see any flaws with her performance.
No, I'm glad they didn't kind of like downplay just how goofy
that situation is. That
you're a villain and you're just here as fodder. To die like that, because that's where I feel like they kind of messed up with this Deadpool 2 was the whole thing with it's like, okay, get ready for this CG fight. I'm like, well, Deadpool, you literally just downplayed it. So why should we be excited about it? Like a lot of that they took away, but this
that was different writing. Good. I feel like they kind of was slacking on the writing in that film.
That's a good point. That's probably this has Feige's hands in it a lot more.
This has really good. This film has really good writing.
They did a really good job. I like the fact that even Deadpool, when he took on the job by the TVA, or he took on the assignment, they gave him a new outfit. And it had that MCU sort of
suiting up feel.
Yeah. They kept slapping his ass.
And it's way more than you would think from the trailer. They just show once or twice, but they played it. And it's funny, you don't realize, but the white gloves is supposed to be the Mickey Mouse gloves hand.
Oh, is that what
that's Disney suiting him up.
That makes sense.
That's the homage to Disney suiting him up.
He's like, your tailor's a predator, but anyways,
that's what I was like, okay, that's going deep on it. They really not pulling any punches on
even the type of humor was very slapstick, like not slapstick, but it was the more like meta humor.
That's what I'm saying. That meta humor,
deadpan style. Sometimes
it's like they know what you're thinking.
Kind
of stuff. Like that's what makes it feel like almost like stand up.
For example, when the I don't know, what was it? Not Taskmaster. I don't know. Basically, the main guy that was like anti-TVA, they were calling him something like Quizmaster or some shit like that.
No, Paradox.
Paradox, there you go. So Paradox was yelling at Deadpool, and then he stopped and he's like, thank you very much, eats a sandwich.
Yeah.
What?
So like eating my emotions.
Right? It was really good. I'm glad.
It's meant to have some funny stuff in there, and they really... There was a good mixture. It wasn't too much, and then like pretty much everything was like a good cue of like a good sense of humor. Like
I would argue this is by far the best
Deadpool
movie they pulled off from the beginning, when he comes in and he's talking about how I know what you guys are thinking. You know where you are. You know what this is all about. And I know you guys are thinking, how are we going to bring back Wolverine? How am I going to get Wolverine without messing up, desecrating the story of Logan?
And you know what? We're not.
We're not.
And they made fun of the fact that how did he die? That's not how regeneration works.
Right.
Even then, he was still they really did leave him dead for that universe, and that was like a huge. That was like the main plot thread, is the fact that him dying is causing this world to get destroyed.
Yep. No, I thought it was great.
So he didn't want to pay homage, but he still did pay homage to him by keeping keeping him dead.
Well, I mean, he like
officially.
literally was using his adamantium to beat
the intro credit scene is one of the best intro credit scenes.
100%.
Like
100% with the in sync as well.
Yeah, the music and the dancing.
I do feel the dance montage went on a little too long. Just a little. Like I felt like just a little bit would have been fine.
The fact that they cut in between the fights and then the dances, but
I feel like they could have cut it a little earlier, but like it's
the intro credits.
It was the whole song.
Yeah,
I was like,
they have credits that are showing, so they have time to show these things.
Makes sense.
Action going on.
Makes sense. No, but overall, like it was really cool, man.
Deadpool Corps.
Okay, so I was a little mixed on that.
I was expecting, first of all, there to be like 8 or 7, maybe 10 characters. There was like 50 Deadpools, and it was pretty much the stuff that's comic accurate. They had the dead pool head or dead head. Then they have kid pool. They got baby pool. They got the female Deadpool.
Baby pool. One of the kid pools was actually done by Ryan Reynolds' kid.
That was his. So that was his kid's voice.
Which was even funnier. Yeah,
they had all the different Deadpools.
What I will say about the Deadpool Corps is I'm glad that they were in there.
I wasn't expecting them to be getting beat by each other. I thought they were going to work together.
That's why I assumed that they were going to show up at the tail end of invading the Ant-Man fortress. But
that's what I thought
honestly,
too.
I liked it this way better.
It gave them the spotlight.
It gave them the spotlight, but it also gave them a reason, like, so we could get a badass fight scene with Wolverine and Deadpool Prime, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, so in that situation, you have to.
Because otherwise, it just would have been like a bunch of mutants or like some sort of CG battle, So it was kind of cool, and the fact that they could regenerate it made it even funnier. So,
and with the film style, I'm always a huge fan of the one shots. They did a cool one. Well, it was 2 shots, but a long like hallway scene, old boy style fight scene, and that scene was pretty hot. You're probably gonna hear about that fight scene a lot in a lot of people's reviews.
The fact that Daredevil died, and then
they
and then Deadpool was like looked at Elektra like, sorry, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because that's her ex and everything. That's so funny, man.
Whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's one. That's one.
Oh, wait a second. Not just that, but the fact that Daredevil and Elektra had a thing. So yeah.
Oh, but I was thinking that maybe that would be one cameo. Is that Deadpool? I mean that Daredevil would show up since Elektra's there. Like, well,
the last thing Ben Affleck wants to be doing is coming in there
but the coolest cameo.
I know what you're about to say because they had us. We
were like, who is that? This hooded character in the very beginning.
Yep.
And he had like some red and blue going on. Yep. That was a little throw.
That was so.
They tried to get us. They were like, go ahead, say the line.
Really
I was like, he's gonna say, I can do this all day. Said, flame on. I said, I forgot the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And that was the one character that's like he played 2 different Marvel characters.
Yep.
So they got to play homage to both of them kind of in a way.
Which I thought was great because it was less about the MCU and it was more about the Fox
movies,
which we should have known from the beginning because all the stuff that was in the Void was from the Fox universe. Well, except Ant-Man was in there too. So, So,
that's true. That was
kind of weird,
MCU.
right? Kind of weird. Interesting.
Yeah, they had if you didn't know, they had the original Fantastic Four vehicles. That little hover thing that looked like a pill.
I remember that. Yep, I saw that.
So that was also rumored to be
Pyro was in there. Did you know that was Pyro?
I didn't know from the trailers. It didn't click for me.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he started going, I was like, that is the guy that played Pyro.
Yep. The fandom told me about it right after the trailer. They're like, oh, that's so hot. Because he says, he's like, that's so hot. And people are like, hey, man, did you know that was Pyro? Adult Pyro? I'm like, how would I know?
He's in the trailers.
He's an adult now. When he was last time we saw him, he was a kid. Then I don't know if that was Ray Park.
It is.
That was
I'm
Ray
pretty sure it's him.
Coming back as Toad?
Because people were talking about they have the cast and everything. They know he's in the movie.
Then that was good.
He had his plays.
Well done, man.
The fight scene with where you had Blade, Elektra, X-23, Gambit, and then Deadpool and Wolverine fighting at Cassandra Nova's little hideout.
Yep.
That was a good scene where they gave everybody like a
100%. 100%.
Then they move on to something else, and then they come back and give everybody some more shine. So it's not just like a one-off kind of fight.
Yeah.
They had a lot of screen time, and I'm glad that they didn't do what I thought they were gonna do. It's like, oh, this is their last stand, so so he's gonna die,
No.
she's gonna die.
I honestly thought
that's what was
the
gonna
way they were
happen.
building it up, I honestly thought that all of them were going to be like obliterated by some big
simple
thing,
ass thing. Like they're standing there and all of a sudden,
purple creature would come and eat or whatever.
They didn't.
And like I thought it was going to be like the way they were setting that up. I thought they were all going to get wiped out, just like X Force got wiped out in the second movie.
That's
but
like
no,
extreme comedy.
They actually gave them. They gave them a moment. So that was great. No, well done, man. I really cannot complain. I really cannot complain. I'm really curious to see if this is going to be what's going to get the X-Men, not just the X-Men, but
Secret Wars.
Everything.
Secret
Just
Wars.
get everybody back on track.
Yeah.
The whole MCU back on track. Because the next movie that we're going to have is going to be Captain America, the new
Brave
Captain
New
America.
World.
Yeah, Brave New World. So I'm sure we're going to go back into that more serious political side, but I would love to see if they're going to do something more with this afterwards. So we shall see.
It's funny that last thing. It's funny that Blade says I'm going to be the only one playing Blade.
I thought that because of the fact that there was only
but Mahershala Ali is supposed to be making this new Blade movie.
But there's also rumors that he left.
Like that's what. Yeah. Oh.
So because Deadpool looks at the camera, he's like.
Do you think what's his name was reshoot material? You think it was originally in there?
Nah.
He might have been originally in it.
No.
I mean, like
Deadpool.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you think he was because they did reshoots for the movie?
No, they wouldn't do that.
I wonder what parts.
No,
they
wouldn't give it away. You know, like
that's what I'm saying. Like, they might do that reshoot stuff because they don't want to spoil things, and then they last minute add in Channing Tatum, Wolverine. I mean, not Wolverine, Blade.
Oh,
I'm thinking maybe from the reshoots they came in last minute, shot those scenes.
Probably,
but that's a lot because they did a lot.
Hard to say.
Because they did a lot, so I can't say.
Hard to say. I don't know about all that. That is true. They did go back and retool a lot of things.
And the fact that
Deadpool,
they didn't, nobody knew, like
that
they really
true.
saved those secrets.
Really a lot of best kept secrets, especially Henry Cavill. Like that's a hard one. Yeah. Like I'm so surprised. Like and I will say what I did like is the fact that I know Hugh Jackman has a skin condition and everything. So
I was gonna say,
they did a good job. The yellow lining bothered me a lot, but and then I was just like, okay, I know he has a skin condition, so we'll just deal with it. But I do like the fact that they found a workaround for it, for him to lose those things.
Yes.
Would have been kind of cool if they had the extra padding, the cuff there, but
it's okay.
It was cool, man. It was good stuff.
Did you know, or what was it? Did you expect, or did you know the moment that he lost the sleeves? Because I don't remember where it was.
So they were fighting in the car, in the van. They were fighting each other. Then Elektra drives them away.
So it's just after that scene, basically.
Exactly.
Okay, so they just were fighting all night, and his sleeves are gone.
Correct.
Okay, that's
correct.
What it was.
I guess either he ripped them off or whatever. But
they fought, and he probably got his arms chopped off.
From that point on, well, from that point on, everything that they were doing was in studio. So it wasn't any natural light, so he didn't have to worry about any of that. So,
and they did a good job of, because I think they might have had to CGI his arms a little bit to make them look like, so he didn't show his skin condition. Huh? I think someone talked about how they might have CGI'd his arms so that you can't tell the skin condition. So I was looking at it.
Are you saying that he actually has a skin condition?
Yeah.
Like kind of like Michael Jackson?
Like a vitiligo type thing with his cancer? Yeah. So
I don't know anything about that.
They might have CGI'd it.
No, because we've seen him at the gym before, like, working out and all that. So I don't know about that. Yeah,
well, I'll have to look into that.
No, the main thing was it's just that he burns really bad.
With
the UV rays, so that's why he needs to stay covered up.
Okay.
I guess, but then at the same time, we've seen him at the beach with his trainer. So I don't know. I don't know what the whole thing is, but from the moment I was asking about the yellow thing, people were like, "Oh, because he has a skin condition."
No,
like that.
I think that's also because wasn't one of the comic book outfits? Did they ever have sleeves at all in the comics? You don't think he did?
Generally, I've never seen him like that.
Never at all,
unless he's doing like deep space type of stuff, or I don't know, something.
And he covers his whole.
Or like he needs to do full body. Like he's had an adamantium suit one time.
I don't know. It looked very natural to me.
Really?
But then without the arms, it also looked natural because that's how I remember him, like a lot of big video games.
I mean, and then but some of those scenes where he's up there like doing the whole Thor, I was like, okay,
that might be a little CGI.
I don't know.
They might have helped him out a little bit. But
I don't know, but he looked good, man. It was good. All right, guys, that's it. the full reaction, the full audio reaction to me watching this movie is going to be on Patreon. So if you guys want to check that out, please do so. Okay.
Go support your boy Aka, man.
There you go. We'll talk to you on the next one, man. Marvel's back, baby.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace out.